Until Dawn is the newest horror movie that is out now, so let's talk about it. So, Until Dawn is the newest horror movie that is out now for you guys to go and check out on the big screen. This is taking a beloved game franchise known as Until Dawn, these horror games, and turning it into a blockbuster movie for us all to go and enjoy. Now, look, I'm gonna be honest. I have not played the Until Dawn games. I just know of them. I've never played them, so I don't know. I have heard some people say that it is not a shot-for-shot remake of the game and stuff like that. So it's kind of like if you go in there expecting to get the game in a movie format, you're going to be disappointed. But if you can take that out, that aspect out, you probably enjoy this movie more. Now, like I said, I haven't played the game, so I don't know if that is 100% true. So I'm just going to speak about my experience with the movie itself. Now, firstly, I will say the trailers looked good. And after watching the movie, it's a good film. It is a good horror film. Now, is it the best horror film of the year? No, I don't think so. Is it going to be the best in the top 10 best horror movies? Maybe, potentially. It has a lot going for it, and I can see a lot of people really enjoying this. I can see some people not enjoying it. So it has these elements that could work for people and don't work for people. Now, firstly, I will say the imagery in here is fantastic. I will say that. There are a lot of great shots throughout this whole entire movie that were creepy, but so good. Like, there's this one moment when they're outside. I won't tell you what it is or anything like that, but there's one moment outside. I thought that imagery was absolutely fantastic. You see it in the trailer as well. There's these multiple imageries things as well that happen, especially in a hallway, which was really, really crazy with like this face. Oh man, that's haunting. So there's a lot of that, and the whole idea of what is going on, I thought mixed with the imagery of how certain events happen and the effects of what is happening to the outcome that is going to happen, I thought was great because you got the full context of the imagery in an imagery way rather than a telling way. So sometimes, movies can tell you instead of showing you. In here, we got the show thing. So they showed us what is going to happen. And I like that. And it was dark, and it was gritty, and it was bloody, it was gory, it was disgusting. It was absolutely everything you want in a horror movie. Like, let's just be real. Now, another thing I really enjoyed is the atmosphere itself. I do think they created an atmosphere that was very much suspenseful, that was thrilling, that was on the edge of your seat as well. And there are a lot of moments when you're sitting there and you're just like waiting for something to happen, and the amount of times they fake you out, it's clever because, sometimes horror movies, what they do is they think jump scare equals great movie. And that's not necessarily true. How many movies have we gone to in horrors where it's just predictable jump scare after jump scare after jump scare? And it's not a fun experience because it's like, okay, cool, you got me. Oh, you got me. But then you start getting used to it and you get predictable. I like it when they fake you out and you don't know and they don't rely on that. And that's what this movie does really well. It doesn't rely on jump scares. There are a few in here, but it relies on building the tension, building the suspense up, building the imagery, and creating an atmosphere that gets you in that moment where you expect something to happen, and when it doesn't, you then get hit by it. And I think that is how you should be doing things. I think that is the way to get us, and they did a great job with that. It is bloody. It is very, very bloody. Some of the deaths are absolutely crazy, man. For me to put myself in their shoes, I was just kind of like, yo, that's crazy, man. Because it is. It's crazy. Like, you got people getting chopped in half. You got people losing legs. You got people getting in. You got people doing all sorts of stuff, man. They're just killing people left, right, and center. Like, I just was sitting there and I'm like, well, wow, this is what I came to see, man. Because when I come to a horror movie, I want the blood and the gore. That's why I'm here. And I want to get that tension feeling, that anxiety, and I got that in this movie as well. Now, another thing I do really appreciate in here, we don't have dumb characters. Oh, hallelujah. If you guys have been watching me, you know my number one trope that I hate in horror movies is dumbass characters who make the dumbest decisions. You're like, why are you doing that? In here, the decisions they make are smarter. They actually strategize. They come up with a strategic way to get through things. They come up with ideas. They don't just run into it. You know, there are moments where they are motivated by certain things like that, but it's justifiable and you understand why they're doing it. But overall, the characters are smart. And, you know, when they are like that, it makes me more attached to them. It makes me want to see them succeed. So I was rooting for the characters. I was rooting for the group. They weren't these dumb, young teen adults that just don't listen to anything and just run in guns blazing, thinking they're the top shit and stuff like that. No. And I really, really appreciate it because that just makes the experience for me so much better. Like, I don't mind having one dumb character that does dumb shit because it's a trope. I get it, but that's fine having one. But when the whole group is like that, it does get very, very boring very quickly. So I really appreciated that they did that. And I thought the cast were fantastic as well. The performances were all great. So that I have no problems with as well. Cinematography wise, I thought it was shot beautifully. I thought, you know, using the practical and stuff like that worked really, really well and very effectively. And it just created that atmosphere on another level that I really, really enjoyed. So I did like that. Now, one thing I think is a bit of a problem is the pacing of the film. It does feel very long because, like, the whole idea, it's like a Groundhog Day sort of scenario where, you know, they go in here and they get trapped and they got to survive until dawn. You get killed, you start over again. And what I did like is that it's not the same thing. It's not just the same repetitive day over and over. It is mixed up with different things in that, so it does feel different. And there is something that happens in here as well. I'm not going to, you know, give away what it is, but I appreciate them doing that because it can get very, very repetitive very quickly. But the pacing of the film, I did start to feel it towards the end. I did feel like, okay, this is starting to get a, you know, drag on a little bit. I mean, how many more rounds can I go watching these people die all the time and stuff like that? It does get repetitive and you do feel that runtime at the end. So that is kind of a negative for me on there. And the ending is look, I'm being honest, the ending is a bit lackluster. I really thought they could have done something bold with the ending. But the ending is it felt very generic ending. And I was kind of like, you know, this could have been a little bit more bold potentially, but you know, it is what it is. But obviously, I do feel like we're going to get a sequel here. If this movie does do well, I think there is going to be a sequel because it does look like they set it up in this movie. Like I said, I haven't played the game, so I don't know. People were like, you know, when there's this moment at the end where they do that and they were like cheering and stuff, they're like, oh, let's go. And I was like, okay, so there must be a sequel, something. That must be the tease of it. But I don't know. I haven't played the games. But overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very, very decent horror movie. Definitely one that you should go check out if you're into the horror stuff. I think you're going to like it. The whole story itself and the lore behind it, I thought was very, very interesting. And I would like to see a sequel. I'd like to see where this franchise can go and see the capabilities that they could do moving forward with this story and how they could, you know, make the next one even better. I'm truly intrigued to see that. So let me know what you guys thought. Smash it down in the comment section below. Smash that like button. Click subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.